Hello, I am Lizzie Matthews, and for my cultural event project, I went to the Springville Museum of Art. I absolutely loved this Museum of Art. I thought it was incredible, had so much character and so much history, and had some incredible works of art. Today, in my analysis, I'd like to share some thoughts regarding the audience, the venue, the overall event, and then a deeper dive into a few specific paintings. But before we start with that, I'd like to share some of the history of the Springville Museum of Art. The Springville Museum of Art did not start out as a museum. It was just a collection of art that grew until they had enough art to create a museum. In 1903, two paintings were donated to the Springville High School by two famous painters. So it started out as a tiny little collection, and as the years went on, people started to donate more paintings, more works of art. And in 1935, quite a bit of paintings and works of art had been donated, where they decided to construct a building to hold all of these paintings. So now we have the Springville Museum of Art. This venue is incredible. It has the feel of an Eastern European, Italy, Spain kind of architecture. There is stucco on the wall that is very uneven and very natural looking, as well as there are brick stones on the ground. So you really do feel like you are in Spain when you are in this building. It is a comfortable but smaller, quaint venue, and you feel like you are at home in this art museum. As far as audience, there is something for everyone in this museum. Whether you are a young kid, a tween going to high school or middle school, or a college kid, or a young adult, or an older grandparent, there is something for you in this museum. As far as event goes, this is a free museum, which I thought was incredible for the amount of art that they have and for the quality of art that they have. It has many different diverse areas. There is an area for European art. There is an area for Native American art. There's an area for Russian art, as well as Ukrainian art. They had a few Ukrainian artists featured on a special wall. I thought this was really cool as they're aware of what's going on right now in the world. There is also some American and colonial art. There was a section for modern/students, and I thought that was a great idea to be able to introduce children into the world of art at a young age, to be able to see that they can have their pieces in a museum. I thought that was really special. There were some areas that were interactive. They had things on the wall that said, if you have advice, write it down on the paper, and you can clip it up, and then you can take one for yourself that you want or you feel like you need at that time. There were a few different interactive areas as well, other than just that. I thought it was really cool how they divided each area. So when you walked in, you knew what you were looking at, and you were able to make connections and also contrast between the different pieces of art. I think that was very thought-provoking and really able to help you analyze and pull things out that you wouldn't have normally been able to pull out otherwise. I thought there was a good use of different techniques. There were some paintings that had carved lines. They used clay, they used wood. There were some sculptures made out of brass. There was a lot of paintings, mostly paintings. A few sketched with pencil and with pen, but overall it was beautiful to see the different techniques and the different materials used. There were some paintings that were very vibrant, some that had a lot of colors and a lot of patterns, a lot going on, a lot of busy things for your eyes to look at. And on the other hand, there was a lot of paintings that were more dull, more somber, and more simple, had maybe one object in the whole painting to focus on. And I thought there was a great variety of paintings that had lots going on, as well as paintings that did not. Likewise, there were also some paintings that were very realistic. They had really good shading, really realistic colors to the objects that they were created to be. And there were also some paintings that were not so realistic, some more modern art feels. And I think that was amazing to see the difference in different painters, and it was cool to be able to connect that to the world, that we are all so different. We don't look the same, and we won't paint the same. We won't make art in the same way. We all have different talents and specific gifts that we have been given, and it was cool to be able to see those. I would have liked to see more representation of all the races throughout this museum. There was some representation with Russia and Ukraine and Native Americans, but I think in some other aspects there was some missing races. I would have also liked to see descriptions with every picture and with every painting and with every work of art. There were some works of art that did not have descriptions or backstories, and I think that helps the viewer look inward as well as look at the painting and try to find more specific things that they can apply to their lives. And as far as specific paintings that I enjoyed, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the details in these. One of my favorites was the interactive advice that I talked about earlier. This area had a black wall to kind of focus on the real artwork at hand. There were a few different stringed up strings with a bunch of clothespins that were different colors. And on these clothespins, people had previously written advice just on cards, index cards. And the thing on the wall said that you could take a piece of advice and then also leave one. And I thought this was incredible to be able to really bring out emotion in the viewers, to be able to help each person that was there at the museum take a piece of advice, to be able to learn something and grow from that time at the museum. You could also share and lend your advice out to other people. I thought this also is a great way to remember the museum. It's a visual reminder that you're going to take this card home and always look at it. That was one of my favorite art exhibits. Another one of my favorites was this art piece of a bunch of famous ladies previously in other paintings. This art piece also had an interactive part of it. On the other wall, you could go around and it had many blocks of this painting. It was kind of like a puzzle. On the back, it said all the numbers, and you could either look at the back and put each number where it went, or you could use the picture and try to decide where each piece went. And we made this puzzle, and it was really fun to be able to test our memory and to test our matching skills of the painting. In this painting, it is very vibrant. It has many colors, many patterns. It has a lot going on. I think the artist is the opposite of a minimalist. She's a maximist and using every single spare place to put in pops of color and excitement. I believe that this represents women's personalities. I know a lot of women who are very, very busy. They are doing so much and always helping other people and always very happy and excited and joyful. And I think this painting represents it so well. Overall, I loved the Springville Museum of Art. I would recommend it to anyone that wants to learn more about Utah culture as well as culture in the world in general. With its audience that features anyone and everyone, its venue that is small, quaint, is full of character, and its event that has multiple areas based off of different places in the world and different types of art. With some that are vibrant, some that are more somber, some that are realistic, and some that are more modern art. I would definitely recommend checking out the Springville Museum of Art.